Hey, how are ya?
Hello everyone, welcome to a new series I like to call Character Talk, where we discuss many different things about popular characters in different series we all love. Today's character, Dr. Vegapunk, from the series One Piece that we all know and love. Dr. Vegapunk has been a huge mystery for most part of the manga, only recently have we had a proper introduction to the world government's head scientist. Before we found out who Dr. Vegapunk really was, the One Piece community had many theories as to who he was. One of these theories is that Admiral Kizaru was Dr. Vegapunk himself. Support to this theory was that Axe Boy was said to be Dr. Vegapunk's bodyguard or assistant, and when we saw Axe Guy, Kizaru was also there. The pacifista were also seen to shoot lasers, and it is theorized that these lasers come from Kizaru's Pika Pika no Mi. Vegapunk is the smartest man in the world, as well as the world government's special science group leader. After the warlord system was abolished, the world government needed new power, and so Vegapunk got to work and created clones of the original 7 warlords and made them into young Lunarians, which also have devil fruit powers, most likely artificial devil fruits that Vegapunk has created. In his early years, Dr. Vegapunk was also the leader of a scientific group called MADS, with many notable scientists working with him. Queen the Plague, one of Kaido's all-stars now. Well, maybe not after Green Bull, but you know. Vin Smoke Judge, who is also Sanji's father and the leader of the Germa 66, and a child abuser. And Caesar the Clown, who's a child abuser. The first ever real introduction we had to Dr. Vegapunk was at the end of chapter 1061, after the Straw Hat crew got attacked by a huge partly mechanic shark. Vegapunk appeared, but not what we had expected. What we see come out of the robot was a smexy young scientist instead of the old man with a striped shirt that we all thought it was going to be. We later find out that this body of Vegapunk that we see is not his main body, but is one of his 6 satellites. This mad scientist is so smart and is constantly thinking of new ideas, but he didn't have enough time in his hands to do all the things he thought of, so he found a way to split himself to 6 different bodies so that he could get more things done. Punk number 1, Shaka the Good, that wears a mask with 01 written on it. He was also the one who told Robin and the Straw Hats about what happened to Professor Clover and the books from the Tree of Knowledge. Punk number 2, Lilith the Evil, who was the first satellite body that we see in the story. Punk number 3, Edison the Thinker, who's constantly thinks of new ideas. Punk number 4, Pythagoras the Wise, that we see as a big robot. Punk number 5, Atlas the Violent, and who is said to be as tall as Kaido the Dragon Duck. And the last satellite, Punk number 6, York the Greedy, who pretty much eats the food for Vegapunk and all the satellites because he's even too busy to eat food. Once every day, all of the experiences and the knowledge that each satellite gained is all put into Punk records. Dr. Vegapunk may look familiar to some people, and that's because he's inspired by the famous picture of Albert Einstein sticking his tongue out. Vegapunk is also very tall even without his large brain. When he did have his brain, he was said to be the height of one of the more smaller giants. This psycho Vegapunk has also found a way to remove his own brain and placed it at a secure place near the top of Egghead Island, at a place he calls his Punk Records. The reason Dr. Vegapunk's brain was so huge was because he ate the brain fruit, which meant he can store all of the knowledge that he gains. This leads to his brain constantly expanding from the many information and knowledge that his brain takes in. He is also one of the many examples of a character in the series who naturally takes their devil fruit to its biggest potential, as Vegapunk was naturally a genius in the first place, as well as Law, who already had vast medical knowledge as a kid, which allowed him to use the op fruit's many different abilities. Before Kuma was turned into a thoughtless pacifista, he stayed and protected the Thousand Sunny from harm for 2 years. This meant that Dr. Vegapunk allowed Kuma to keep part of his humanity for a little, just to protect the Sunny, which led to many theories of Vegapunk secretly working for the Revolutionary Army. In the recent chapters, we see that Vegapunk never really trusted the world government, as he suspected them to want to unalive him for quite a while, because the world government fears the things he is capable of. Now that the CP0 are on the island, this confirms his suspicions and makes him want to leave the island with the Straw Hats. We later find out that Dr. Vegapunk and Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, do in fact know each other and may have even worked together back when the Revolutionary Army was called the Freedom Fighters. The simple reason Dr. Vegapunk left the Revolutionary Army and joined the world government was simply because Dragon was broke. Dr. Vegapunk reveals his dream to Luffy, Jinbei, Chopper and Bonnie, who wanted to kill him for turning her father, Kuma, into a pacifista. Vegapunk's dream is to create a huge giant sea of knowledge, sort of like a library, where the whole world can have access to the knowledge that his brain holds, and everyone and anyone around the world can update punk records. Another dream of his is to create an ideal world through science, a world where energy is abundant, available, and free to everyone around the globe.
Who should I talk about next? Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. Ha, 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 ha.